good morning. Well, where we've just set off, it's a little commercial property. We do the lawn and what have you. You've seen it before if you watch my vlogs. And I said to Sam, she said, this is how observant Sam is. I said to her, where's all my rocks gone? I know there was more rocks in here. And she says, well, there was only ever 2. No, there was more than that, I'm sure there was. And what has happened is the people in the stupid gym has decided to fill in a hole that they've created because they keep driving on the bloody grass. There's a huge, and I mean huge car park, empty car park out the back. But because, I mean, this is what I don't understand about the, oh, I need to get fit, but I don't want to drive, I don't want to walk, I don't want to run there. No, I'll drive right up to the gym, and then I'll run on a treadmill, and then I'll drive all the way. Why not just fucking run to the gym and then fucking run back? Do you know, I said to Sam, I'm not going to moan anymore, but it does infuriate me, this stuff, because they've nicked me rocks. And it makes, I'm trying to make this little grass, well, it was a grass verge, but they've ruined it by driving on it. So I want to make this sort of flower bed, whatever you want to call it, look a little bit better by planting stuff and having rocks there and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, and oh yeah. While I was typing that, I was parked at the side of the road because the people who worked there wanted to park where I was parked, so I moved to the side of the road. And I'm typing that, and there's a woman waiting there, and oh come on, why is he in the way? Why is he in the way? Give me a right filthy look. Here's something funny for you. I took my car, I walked to the other side of Tamworth, which is about a 4-mile, 5-mile walk, and I was all over the place. So we drove there, dropped the car off, and then drove back, then walked back. Then we walked back to collect the car, and yeah, it was because when I had the battery done, I didn't have any reverse or forward sensors. So I took it in. Now, online it says, take your battery off, wind down your window, wait 10 minutes, and then hook it all back up again, and it should be alright. Well, I weren't going to do that. I weren't going to disconnect the battery. I thought, no, I'm not doing that. I'll just take it to Citroen. 50 some odd pound for them to turn them back on again. Because for someone, well, I think it's about 57, wasn't it? 57 quid for the privilege of them just like going through the menu and turning them off, turning them back on again. I'm an idiot. They were just turned off. I thought, because the reason why I took it in is because I had a notice come up saying collision detection fault, and I thought, oh, okay. And I had that while the battery was going flat, and then obviously it went flat, and I didn't have any sensors, so I thought, oh, they're knackered. So yeah, I wasted a day, and it went through. It wasn't really what?
It wasn't really a waste.
No, it wasn't really a waste because Sam enjoyed the walk, and I guess I did. I enjoyed the walk on the way back to the flat, the first part of the walk. The walk on the way there to collect the car was a bit of a nightmare because I was all over the place. I couldn't walk straight. I was so knackered. Yeah, I tripped over the floor twice. So yeah, and I have one customer who's going to read my book, and I just hope they're prepared for a shock because it's not quite how one person is going to read it, and I've just got to do a little couple of bridge chapters because I've basically written the story down, but to make it flow better I've got to add more to it, and so I have ideas that will help with the flow and everything, and yeah, so I've just got to write a couple of chapters just to make it flow a bit better. Otherwise one day he's in bed and then the next day it's 10 years on, so you know, it didn't kind of make sense. I put one chapter in afterwards, and I think it needs a couple more, so I'll do that, and then you can have a look and say, this is crap, what the fuck is this all about? I don't understand it, it's shit. Because that's the, I mean, the thing is, it's like I was posting it on YouTube, and so there's a couple of chapters on there. I'm not sure if they're still there, to be honest. Don't watch them. I've got to pull them down, and the reason being is I'm not going to delete them. I'm just going to leave them there because they're my copyright things. But the reason is because even though I've used those chapters, they're not necessarily in that order, so it wouldn't make any sense. So, because I kept changing things, it was just evolving so much. Well, that's why I've decided to do at least two other books side by side, because I don't like linear stories where it's like man wakes up, man goes to the toilet and finds out he's just shat out a frog. You know, that's a linear story. It's like, you know, it's like man goes to the toilet and I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'll plant something at the beginning of the story that you think, okay, well, what's that all about? And then right at the end of the story, you figure out what that's all about. That type of thing. I love stories like that. And also, I like it when you read another chapter or another book, even if it's nothing to do with that story, and the references to the other book, you know what I mean? So okay, an example is, I'm not going to use this, so I don't know how I'm going to write this one particular book, but I had an idea of a book called The Light, and it's basically all about mental health and stuff like that, but it's metaphorical. And there's a chap who goes to Canford for an investigation, and you know, he's investigating somebody called Maxine Black, and that's all in this first book. But is it going to be connected? I have no idea, but you know, it could be. So, you know, that's the type of thing I like, where, you know, you're reading a completely separate story, but it references another story and even crosses over. You know, he does something at this place which explains something in the first book which is probably nothing to do with that story, if you understand what I mean. I just love stories like that. I've mentioned this before. The best example is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yes, I watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but they said something in 2, maybe 3 seasons before you actually understood what it meant. It was a dream sequence, and in the dream, one of the person says, "Be back before dawn," and that sends shivers down my spine, because was it 3?
That was season 4.
Yeah.
And dawn comes into it in season 5. So.
Oh, so it was only 1 season? No, I'm sure it was. No.
The shark and everything is season 6.
So yeah, because there's loads of foreshadowing anyway in this dream, and you know, and it's not even in that season. You don't think anything of it until you watch it again.
They had the ideas for season 5 and season 6 while they were still in season.
Yeah. Well, so you know, you just dismiss it as part of a weird dream, and it turns out, oh wow, that's what that meant. It's such a subtle seed, if you will, because I think that's it's like they plant this subtle seed, and I've done that throughout the story. Plant all these little subtle seeds, and you think, okay, could it be, could it not be? And in the second book, yeah, that explains one of these little seeds that I've planted, because, you know, I've done it really, really ambiguous in a way that, well, do I really want that in this book? Do I want to explain that in this book? Can it just be left unexplained? Yes, it can. I might not, you know, and I might not even put it in the second book. It might be a 3rd or 4th book that I actually explain it in. You know, it's things like, I just love stuff like that, because it gets your brain working. It also, it's good on rereads. You know, if you read a book and then you think, oh, that was good, I'll have another read of that, and then you read it and you think, oh fucking hell, I never realised that. That's what all that meant. You know, that type of thing, and I just love stuff like that. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. And the thing is, I've thought about, do I want it published? I would like people to read it, that's all. I'm not interested in earning any money from it, not really. It's just having somebody read it and say, yeah, I quite like that. That would be really nice. I don't expect it, but it would be nice. I mean, come on, I'm not really a literary person. I'm not somebody who reads. I don't read. That's the thing. I just don't read. The last book I read was The Rats, the trilogy, and I really enjoyed them. But it was in a time when I had a lot of time to sit down and read. I don't have that kind of time anymore to just sit down and read. So, you know, and the thing is, when I first wrote the 19 1996 draft, I was reading the Rats then, so there was a lot of descriptions, and it's such a different style of writing. Whereas now, because I haven't read any books, my style of writing has sort of, I'm trying to be less bland. I like books that are very atmospheric, and I don't know, because I'm not a reader, I don't know, but from what I can gather, stories and books nowadays have changed. I'm part of a writing group on Facebook. I don't really post on there like everything else. It's my own fault that I don't get replies on any of my messages, because I don't post. I don't know what to say to people, I just don't. That's kind of like the character in the book. He's a bit socially awkward, but it's like, you know, I don't know what to say. It's amazing going out with Sam SGN, because he's just got the gift of the gab. Well, that's how it seems, but it isn't. It's just, that's how normal people are. I'm not like that. I'm like, you think I'm easy to, you know, I can talk easy and stuff, but because I do this, it's different when I'm doing this, because I'm not having somebody look at me and think, God, you're a twat. You know, you're on the other side of the screen going, God, you're a twat. You know what I mean? So I don't see it. But yeah, it's like, I was going somewhere with that and it's gone.
Sam has the gift of the gab.
Before that.
You don't post on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm a member of a writers group, and I don't really post on Facebook, and so it's my own undoing that I don't get any replies. But I remember there was a thing on there saying a man walked into a room. Why do you have to describe the room? You don't have to describe the room. Well, I beg to differ, because I just wrote a section where my character is in a doctor's waiting room, and I describe the room. Why? Because, you know, it's important for the character. It's what the character notices about the room. It's what he's doing in the room. You know, the whole feeling. If you're sitting there just having a general conversation with your friend at, I don't know, sitting in, I don't know, walking down the street or whatever, you don't really need to describe the street. Maybe a dog barking in the background will disturb you, but you don't need to describe all that. But the thing is, what I'm noticing is that it could be an AI thing, or I don't know, but it's almost like, one of the, I can't remember how they used this word, but it's a great word. Oh, what's that word for the cemetery again? Necropolis. I thought, what a brilliant word, necropolis. And it got removed. Now that's the problem. A lot of the descriptions got removed from my book, and it got not watered down, it got filtered. So it's literally just bare bones. So I've stopped doing that, and I was using ChatGPT to polish the book. But what I've learned is the best way to do a book is to write what you want in the book, and then get the AI to actually do all the descriptions and everything, and then you go through it, because that also gives you ideas of how you want the book to flow and everything. And then what you do is you go through it and think, right, I don't want that, I want to change this, I want to change that, and then you change it to your own narrative, rather than the other way around, where you write it and then you get the AI to polish it, because the AI will just take everything out that you put in, and you think, why have you done that? Oh well, you know. So that's how I've done it, because even the original, all my other drafts I've done, they have improved, but they're still very sort of like, and one day he went to bed and he had a poo, and he thought, why am I having a poo in bed? You know, it's really childish way of talking. You know, once upon a time, you know, it's almost like that, the original drafts. Not quite, but almost. The 1996 one is a little bit better. It's more like the one I've written now. I want to read it all. I haven't read it all, because the whole lot is, if you read the book I've wrote now, the whole lot is the first chapter there's about 12 chapters that have been condensed into one chapter of this book, and I want to read it just to see how much more is in there. So my signal's going to break up. Look at that, HS2. This is going to be a bloody nightmare. This is at some point coming here. I mean, I feel sorry for the people around here because they've had this serene little village in the middle of nowhere, and now they've got to have the HS2 barreling past. And they're also having all the roadworks and stuff. All hovercrafts, monorails.
Why didn't it flash you?
I know. Well, they do, don't they? I'm doing the correct way, and they don't. I'm not a mind reader. So today's going to be a real tough day. I hope everybody has a good day. I'm going to go in a minute, but it's going to be a tough one because we've got extra jobs today. Because yesterday I had a chiropractor's appointment, and I didn't have time to finish because we took on extra work. Quick one before I go. Customer last year, we turned up to their property about 3 or 4 times and the gate was locked and they were out. First couple of times they said, oh sorry, we were on holiday. The second times, the other 2 times, they never even bothered replying. So I said to Sam, fuck it, I'm going. It might have only been one time, I can't remember, but I was sick of turning up and the gate locked, so I just stopped going. Normally I charge people for it, but I don't want to do that, so I just stopped going. I had a message the other night, hi, are you still gardening? Could you come to ours and do our garden? And I replied and said, unfortunately we're fully booked. He said, well, I just thought you would have carried on. You seem to have stopped last year. And I said, yeah, because your gate was locked. It was not. I said, yes, it was. And it almost got to an argument. Yesterday I had 2 calls off them. They're blocked. Gonna go. See you in another life, brother.